Hello and welcome to From the Be All End. Do you ever get the feeling you've been cheated? It's me again. And with me today on this special Good Friday episode is Daz Bentley, live from Legoland. Simon Evans, live from somewhere. And Mr. Bowden, as alive as ever. And obviously we'll be previewing this afternoon's game at Watford, because it's a big bloody weekend, isn't it, boys and girls? And so we'll probably get into some of that as well as the latest news around the flag debacle, which appears to be, after we were saying they were 3'2" only, the pre-approved flags are now non-approved flags, which sounds very Burnley to me. So, what are we thinking in terms of Watford this afternoon and this weekend in general? It's a big one, isn't it, Simon?
It's the season, isn't it? It feels like it anyway. I mean, the way the results go, it might not be the season, but it feels like this weekend defines everything that's gone on this year. Win at Watford and beat Sheffield United, and I haven't done the permutations, but we're pretty much there, aren't we? Stumble, and we could have a stressful end to the campaign. So the way the team have been, you just have a calmness, though, don't you? I'm not feeling jittery going into this at all. I mean, you feel like, I don't want to curse it either, but you just feel like the team are not going to lay an egg for Easter.
We'll leave that there then. Oh yeah, that's very good. What about you, Daz?
I am quite calm, to be honest. I will throw you the scenario. I threw you a scenario last week and it worked out well. So I'm going to throw you this weekend scenario, which Burnley draw at Watford, Sheffield United win, and there's a 3-point gap going into Monday's game. And that means Sheffield United win at Burnley, and of course it's absolutely game on again. But we all know that's not going to happen because Chris Wilder's going to throw his toys out the pram, probably get red carded, and the man in the green jacket. And I don't mean Rory. I mean the man in the green jacket, with 3 stripes on his sleeve, is going to come out on tops again. I think we'll get a draw at Watford. Maybe win, but I think we'll get a draw minimum. I mean, you can't see us losing, can you, at the minute? So I think the draw keeps the pot boiling very nicely, whatever Sheffield United do. But as Simon said there, a win on Friday and an 8-point gap, they might cut that back down to 5 again. But if they come to Burnley with a 5-point gap,
exactly,
I think we're home and hose, boys. Get the fat cigars out.
See, I said I didn't want to jinx it, didn't I? And then Dad has gone in.
Exactly. Oh, there's all manner of psychology going on here. How's your fat cigar, Chris?
I'm the one who's usually a bit nervous around games like this, but I've been fairly relaxed all season, other than the derby games, which, regardless of form and quality, we all know anything can happen. And it's it did it all. Referencing the goal that will never ever be scored ever again. But I'm looking at Watford, and I think Cleverley's done a decent job there this season, taking on from Ishmael, who's doing a very good job down the road as we speak. He's at home they've won as many games as Burnley have at home this season, but they've lost 6. And away from home, they've been woeful. But yeah, people down there talking about his football, call it positive chaos. So make what you will of that. Yeah, they can be 3-4-3, they can be 4-2-3-1, but they've scored less than a goal a game since the turn of the year. And with our defensive solidity, I'm backing us again to show that belief and professionalism and go there and roll them over. And Sheffield could do whatever the hell they want.
Good shout. Now here's a stat for you, Simon. Watford have just won 3 of their last 21 league games on Good Friday, drawn 11, lost 7. And Burnley have won 12 of their last 15 league games on a Good Friday, including each of the last 2 on the road against Blackpool and Middlesbrough. Does that make you're feeling fairly sanguine? Are you still not necessarily going to be cursing the boys? I mean, I do like my history, and as far as I'm concerned, I like me historical facts and things along those lines. And
those legend in there as well. Better legend thrown in as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we've won 12 of the last 15 games on a Good Friday.
Yes.
Which is probably because the Premier League never plays on Good Friday, isn't it?
It
They'll all be
probably is
championship
that.
games. All
Yeah. I mean, there are caveats, obviously.
Yeah, no, that is a tremendous omen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And no, I mean the fact that Chris says that their goal scoring record. I mean, you know, we're not worried about our defence up against teams that might have the best goal scoring record in the league. So we certainly shouldn't be worried about that. I think that's what gives you the calmness is just looking at it and thinking about how the game unfolds. And even if we come under a spell of really intense pressure, Steve and Egan Riley are up to the job. And as long as they're out there fit and healthy, you feel calm about it. And it then becomes a question. I mean, the worst thing that goes through my mind when I think ahead to a game like this is, could it be a boring 0-0? Well, that's not the end of the world for us, you know, but that's kind of where we've got to this season, where a boring 0-0 is the worst thing that can happen to the team. It feels, I'm really jinxing it now, aren't I? But it's no, I do feel that the team looks good. They look together. There's no real issues, is there? There's nothing, you know, nagging away at you about that team that could go possibly wrong. There's nothing about it that's clearly not working. We'd like a little bit sharper finishing up front, but that's got better over the last couple of months, I think. You know, I think the stats have shown that, but it certainly feels like we're creating more chances as well. So, no, I think, you know, they're not a team that we've had like... Chris, I don't think we've ever had like a really bad sort of bogey run against Watford, have we?
We've done well there, haven't we? I can remember many a good afternoon, good evening at Watford. You have to go back. I think we obviously lost the last meeting there. Vincent Kompany early in his reign. One of 3 games we lost all season, but we haven't lost 2 in a row there for about 30 years or something like that, I think. So you remember something? I think it came up before, didn't it? I think Phil Bird had tweeted about the win under Mike Jackson 3 years ago that sort of gave our hopes of surviving the drop, you know, a real boost. And, you know, the late heroics. It was a fabulous afternoon, you know, even though we didn't stay up in the end. But real great memories of that day. There's been, you know, winning there on the way to qualifying for the Europa League as well. These were all come from behind wins as well, weren't they? So it's the spirit's always been there.
That's exactly right. Anyway, moving swiftly on, because we've only got really half a shopping day left to get our flags for the big Bazumba on Monday. And as we were saying, as of last week, they were tea towel size, and now approved flags are now unapproved because they may set on fire because God knows where they've been bought from or whatever. Is this just more, you know, after we were talking last week about how good the Norwich atmosphere was, and when it comes down to it, Burnley fans know when to be Burnley fans. They know when it matters, and they know when to turn up and make themselves heard. And they were definitely heard against Norwich, weren't they, Daz? And, you know, this is just all silliness, isn't it, now, this flag business? We know what we're going to do on Monday, don't we?
I think there's a time and a place for things like that. And I think I can imagine things were getting a little bit, not jittery behind the scenes, but there were definitely obviously thoughts about how can we try and get this team over the line. You know, and the flags thing is it's an easy win in some ways, but it's only an easy win if you let the fans have ownership of it. Now, I'm fortunate enough to work at Everton now, where there's a couple of fan supporters groups, the 1878s amongst them, who are incredible in terms of the club giving them complete ownership of the flags. They create these amazing tifos and banners and personal tributes for every game. I don't hear anything about flame retardant, I have to say, but they let them put them on the seats the day before.
Yeah.
They ask respectfully that people leave these flags under the seats and they can come out again for future games. Compare that with this statement of you can only have a flag that's sort of 3 foot by 2 foot. It's going to be pre-approved and flame retardant, and then a young lady posted one of the flags that were given out at a previous game and put that on the thread, and it got rejected, and it was one of the club had given out in the first place.
So the official flags are no longer official.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
It just seems to have been rushed through without real thought. And as you said, Woody, it's absolutely spot on. And we touched on this at the last pre-game podcast, didn't we? Sheffield United won't need anything.
No.
It won't need anything other than, what is it? Is it 5:30 kickoff? So 5:30 kickoff?
Yes.
5 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah.
So you've got 10,000 Burnley fans ailed up going on turf at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
So it won't need flags, trust me. If you're going to do flags, put them on all the seats. Give everyone a flag on the seats and make it a spectacle. Yeah. Or these sort of flags that sort of, when you hold them up, they make an image, whatever it might be. But the general rule they've put out to make for me is, it's not even a halfway house. It's just a bit of a joke, to be honest, I think.
Yeah. That's what happens in a lot of Premier League clubs as well, doesn't it? But over here in America, that's quite common. I mean, they have a thing in the playoffs over here. When I used to cover Miami Heat basketball a lot, their theme around the playoffs was white heat. Yeah, white heat for the playoffs. So you came in and you had a white T-shirt, cheapo T-shirt, giveaway T-shirt stuck on every single seat in the arena. And it looked absolutely brilliant on TV. And they were the cheapest sort of, fruit of the loom, whatever. And they just stick them on. The whole bank of white all around the field all around the court was really impressive. That don't cost a lot to do something like that. Or you don't do anything. But it does seem stupid to start with official and non-official official and the way they've gone about it.
But I think Darren makes the key point, doesn't he, about allowing the fans to be adults and do their thing. It's up to the fans, isn't it? Whether they want flags, what flags they want to bring, and to trust them to bring the noise, as it were.
Give them ownership of it. Just give them ownership.
Yes,
even supply with the imagery if you have to.
Yeah.
That they can create these huge banners that they can pass around the fans, or they can wave. And I know some people will complain about the flags being raised in front of them when the game's on. That won't happen. Again, going back to Everton, they have these huge displays when the players come out. It's a real spectacle when the players come out. As soon as the game starts, the flags are down.
Yeah.
But it creates a bit of an atmosphere. If you're going to do something, it's got to be on that scale. It can't be on a 3 foot by 2 foot scale.
Yeah.
It could only do that in the cricket field, Stan, couldn't you, realistically? Just, the other stands. And probably the other solution is giving the whole of the cricket field stand to Burnley fans. Because otherwise you've got half of that stand with T4s and this, that, and the other, and it just wouldn't work, really. You get passed around from top corner down to, it just it won't last very long. But I mean that's certain culture, isn't it? It's never been our culture, has it? I don't really. I've always said wherever you go, watching Burnley, there's always flags. Just leave them to crack on with it. Everyone will remember, the winner at York, John Francis, the jumping on the fence, and there's all sorts of whatever branch of the Burnley supporters club, the Union Jacks and all this sort of. Just leave people to do that. Really, you don't need to, like I said, generate this. Just leave the fans to it. Yeah,
it's interesting, what you were saying about the cricket field end. Me and Woody, we have another podcast where we're doing about American soccer business podcast. And I did an interview for an upcoming episode with one of the main stadium designers over here who's done a lot of work on brand new stadiums in places like St. Louis and so on. And he was saying that throughout his career, his 30 years working in architecture on sports stadiums, and the last 10 years has been really on football, soccer stadiums, he'd always looked at English grounds as the example for what they should be like when you build these new soccer stadiums in America. And he was saying that what were the component things of that? And he said, absolutely defining characteristic that NFL stadiums don't have, basketball arenas don't have, is a home end. And he said, MLS teams have gone to great lengths now to create like these mini. Cleveland has one that's like called the Nord Decker, which is trying to be like Dortmund's. They share the same colours and stuff. Obviously, in England, the famous example is, the Cop or the Gladys Street end. We had the long side, didn't we? Right? That was a home end, even though it was down a side. And we lost that. And as I was talking to him, it sort of struck me, we've talked about all this stuff about atmosphere so many times on here, and it probably is just as simple as that with atmosphere, isn't it? We lost our home end and we've never really replaced it. And it's not surely beyond the capacity of the club to find a way to have a home end again. And the logical place for it is exactly as Chris has just said, the cricket field stand. I know there's logistical arguments about it and stuff, but there has to be a way. Because if we want it to be a really rocking atmosphere on Turf Moor, we need a home end, I think.
I think you get like-minded people in there now, don't you? You get like-minded people going in that cricket field stand.
Yeah.
It has become kind of an unofficial home end, but it's half a home end, isn't it? But for a long time, managers of Burnley, going back to Steve Cottrell's time, hated going out down that tunnel with away fans there. And it took a bit of persuasion and a bit of coercion to get that home fans in that stand in the first place.
Yeah.
Now we've got them in there. Yeah, I think it does cause logistical problems in where you do put the away fans. But you're right, Sam, and that is the natural place for a home end. I mean, you can get these flags that sort of you could pass across the lower tiers or the upper tiers, but that doesn't quite have that same impact as one sort of, I won't say Dortmund wall, but you know what I mean, that kind of one end with no split.
Well, Villa tried to do it last night, didn't they?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
I thought it still seemed a little bit forced to me because Villa makes some noise. It felt like they didn't need it then, and it's like blocking off that end. Sorry,
it's a spectacle at the start of a game, just like the Gloucester flags, just like in some ways, just like the song that you come out to. You know, at Goodison they have the siren, and then they have Z cars. At Liverpool, they have "You'll Never Walk Alone." I was at Burnley when we were having discussions back then about we need a song to come out to. We've never had a song to come out to. We've only ever had "No Nay Never," and
that's our song. That's our song.
Absolutely, it's the only song you could ever adopt at Burnley. You can't try and force anything onto people. We tried walkout music. You know, I decided to bring in Arcade Fire, which I thought was a great song at the time. It has a real build-up. Some of the directors hated it from day one and wanted it replaced. Now we play dance music. It's all, you know, really subjective, isn't it? That kind of thing. You've got to create a spectacle. You've got to. It's all about that. When the game starts, everything dies, and it's all about the atmosphere. Then it's just
United have done it tonight. United have done it tonight for their second leg, apparently. But again, it's not really United's way, is it? You know.
No.
Not again.
I've still got them all.
I just mentioned Chris Pierce walking out and dancing to that.
Oh my life!
Van Halen jump was always the one, wasn't it?
That was,
yes. There's some tried and tested in there. At least more clubs have moved away from that crap. Thank the Lord. So for tonight, what do we have as our predictions? We're not that bothered about whether it's a dour 0-0, but you know, all things being equal.
Well, as you said, I'm 15 miles away. I'm in Legoland tomorrow, and I want if it's a crap day at Legoland, I want to nip off to Watford for a game over there. But I actually think we'll get a point. We could win the game, but I think I'd settle for a point now. Give me the point. If you win, I mean, all bets are off. If we win tomorrow, I think that's it. Pretty much done and dusted. But I'll go for a 1-1.
Yes, Simon.
I think we'll win. Yeah. I think it comes together. I think we win convincingly, actually.
Oh, a resounding win.
I'm not saying the score, though, because that always...
yes, exactly.
Never rings
I won't push you on that. Yeah, that's fair enough. Chris?
I think we'll go there and we'll ratchet the pressure right up on Sheffield United. And then, not to be... a defeatist attitude. On Monday night, you can almost hold them at arm's length, and as long as you don't lose the game, you're basically over the line, aren't you? So it's ideally win tomorrow and win on Monday. But I think tomorrow's the statement. If we can go, you face Sheffield.
That'll get you going.
Scared the life out of me.
Stop doing it.
I think if you stop Parker tomorrow, and I think I mentioned this last week, you print a table out and you stick it on the dressing room wall with Burnley 8 points clear of West Brom, and you said, "There's your target, lads." If you win today, you can have a couple of days off. You know.
Yeah.
What, before Sheffield United game?
Fluffy did that once, you know. I remember a great story of Sean Dyche's Derby and playing Nottingham Forest. Fluffy was the manager at Forest. He'd lost a game on the Tuesday, Wednesday night, and Fluffy had come in the dressing room and said, "I'll see you Saturday." And that was it. They turned up at the game on Saturday, and they won 1-0. That was.
These are the days of Tuesday night clubs and going out getting hammered for 48 hour benders and stuff like that, though, isn't it?
I think you couldn't give him a couple of days off, could you, because of Monday, but you could have a few easy days, couldn't you? If you win tomorrow. I mean, it could be pretty much over tomorrow, you know. If we win, Sheffield United don't.
Exactly. You know, and it'd be slightly anticlimactic then, wouldn't it, in a way? Because we've been building ourselves up all damn season for knowing that Monday's game is arguably the big A, and if it doesn't become the big A, and it just becomes kind of run of the mill, and like, you know, there's not quite as much. That
will be the most from the be-all thing ever to whinge about. Already been promoted before Sheffield United.
Snap your arm.
Aren't we on a hat trick? Aren't we on an Easter hat trick? And didn't we do Wigan and QPR at Easter as well?
Oh,
yeah. Wigan was Easter Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't QPR as well?
I can't remember. I think it might have been, but yeah, you're going back to the Good Fridays. I think the last two away games on Good Friday with Blackpool, weren't they? As you mentioned, 2014, Michael Kitely, which virtually sealed promotion, and then Middlesbrough 2 years ago, which did. So it's a good time for us, isn't it? Usually.
There we go. So we're either going to have pissed it by Monday, had a shocker by Monday, be whining by Sunday. It could be a great weekend, an awful weekend, but whatever you do, try and have a fantastic one either way. And up the Clarets.